Subduction is happening in deep ocean trenches. These are just defined as the deep valleys along the ocean floor, usually formed by subduction. So here we have the oceanic lithosphere as it is going down because it is more dense below the continental crust. You're going to notice that it kind of creates this V shape or a deep ocean trench in the crust of the earth. As the oceanic crust is being subducted, we're going to have some water that gets pulled down as well. It's going to change the melting point of the rock, and we're actually going to have some rock that turns into magma, and it's going to burn back up through the crust and create volcanoes right along where we have the subduction zones. Now, our bellwether question for today was why the Atlantic Ocean is getting bigger. Well, we'll answer that question in just a second. Let's look at the Pacific Ocean first. The Pacific Ocean is actually shrinking because we're destroying more crust than we are creating. There's a lot of subduction happening in those trenches along the Pacific Ocean. We also have the Ring of Fire there. Because of all that subduction, there's a lot of volcanic activity because we have created volcanoes through that process of subduction. So we're destroying it. There's very little being added along the mid-ocean ridge in that area. There's not much mid-ocean ridge in that area. So the Atlantic Ocean, on the other hand, is expanding. We have a lot of mid-ocean ridge. You can see it here in the drawing going all the way through the Atlantic Ocean. So the seafloor is spreading. We're adding constantly new material to the ocean floor in the Atlantic part of the ocean. And we are creating more and destroying less because there's very little subduction happening anywhere along there. So the Atlantic is expanding. As you travel, if you've ever gone across the Atlantic Ocean, if you go a second time in the future, the distance you will have traveled will be slightly larger. Now we're talking centimeters a year, not miles a year or anything like that. So it's very little, but hopefully you can see as time goes on, millions of years, this is going to drastically change the surface of the earth. So centimeters now doesn't seem like much every year, but when you add that up even over millions and billions of years, the surface of the earth has changed drastically. So now we're getting more evidence to help support the theory of continental drift, and we have the convection currents as the idea of how this is all moving.